Howdy folks, this is Chuck.
And Linda.
Why not wander? We're doing a little video today to kind of catch up. We've been, this is our 8th month on the road as full-time RVers, or near Brandon, Mississippi. Goshen Springs Campground. We've been here right out a week right now this time. We've been kind of traveling all over the place. We've spent a lot of time in Arkansas up near my dad's house. My sister also lives up in Arkansas. Linda does quite a bit of work down here in Mississippi. She's also had work. We've gone back to Wyoming a couple times. We had a wedding back in Wyoming a couple months ago. We met the kids up in Branson for New Year's, but it's kind of icy, cold outside. We thought this would be a good day to kind of catch things up. There are a few things we wanted to comment on. Maybe somebody can learn from our mistakes and from our successes. We sold the house in May. I believe it was May 12th or 13th. We closed on it. It's January the 7th right now, and since May we've been living in the RV full-time, sold the house, gave away most of our possessions to our children. We sold a few things. We still really got a lot of stuff we should get rid of. If I were going to tell anybody anything about going full-time, get rid of stuff. You don't want to store stuff. How much would you pay to store $100, $1,000, $10,000 worth of stuff? By the time you've already bought it once, now if you're paying money to keep it, decide how much your stuff is worth. What could you replace it for? Do you need to be paying somebody to keep it dry for you? We decided what we wanted to talk about on our video, and the biggest thing this year for us, when we left Cheyenne to live in our motorhome full-time, I'll let you tell them a little bit about our old motorhome. People who've been watching know what we had. Just a couple of comments, and we'll update them with what we've got and the trials and tribulations of making this one work for us.
I think that the biggest difference was that our old motorhome, because we never really lived in it, it had more of a camper feel to it, and this one is more of a home because it's got more cupboard space, it's got more closet space, and the counters are bigger. So I think this is much more livable because of that. This one's 4 feet longer.
4 feet longer. We had a 36-foot Pacero. Now we're in a 40-foot country coach.
And that 4 foot makes a big difference. Of course, the whole back of the coach is closet, and that was a big issue. But there's a lot more storage, and it does make a big difference inside. I don't feel as cramped in this one as I did the other one, so I do like that. But I agree, get rid of your stuff. Just get rid of your stuff. How much do you really use? And even now, after 8 months, there's a lot of stuff that I could still get rid of. That would free up more room. So I think the more you live like this, the more you realize you don't need all your stuff.
So I need to sell a few things. We've got a boat. We thought, boy, we're going to Arkansas near a big, beautiful lake. We use that boat a lot. We had it out once. We did a video with it. We're thinking now, gee, let's sell that boat if we're going to do anything. Maybe get a couple kayaks. But get rid of stuff. You'll never be free. As long as you're shackled to your stuff, you're not really free.
Well, for us, I think it's going to be what we're going to do forever. I don't imagine I would ever buy another sticks and bricks house. I appreciate not having the yard maintenance and just the things that come along with the home. Now, granted, there's maintenance in the motorhome, and things seem to, go wrong, but they go wrong in a house, So
it's not that much different than having a house. Sometimes it's a little less convenient because when you live in a house, you know where the nearest repair or source of repairs, I'm going to say. Let's say a Home Depot or a Lowe's or a Menards, something goes wrong with the plumbing. Okay, I got to go to Menards and get some faucet washers. Now, if you're living in a motorhome, hopefully, that's one of the things on my list. Keep a few odd and assorted homeowner type tools around. We've had to do some plumbing repair. We've had to do some electrical repair. We had an awning that got taken off in the wind earlier this summer. It's one of the things, and our biggest bone of contention, the RV dealer we bought this from, and I'm going to tell you, it was Camping World in Little Rock. We went shopping one day because Linda wanted more closet space. Okay, let's go see if we can find a motorhome that we both like. Now, we got a great motorhome. It's got a lot more cupboard space, closet space. It's got a lot higher grade of finish throughout, but there are some things that haven't worked out quite as well. We told them when we were shopping, this is our budget. We're going to live in it. We need something on which everything works. Okay? They got hung up on price, and we were out the door and in our car ready to leave, and they came back out. Well, come on back in. I think we can make this work. We'll make sure everything on the motorhome works, and we can do it for this many dollars, which was where we needed to be dollar-wise, but really more than price, the importance to us was that everything worked. So we told them, let's get the financing submitted, get it in your shop, go through it. We need everything to work. Now, they did mention more than once, well, it's not a new motorhome, and no, it's a 2004. We bought it in 2016, so let's figure it was 12 years old. Okay, still a nice coach. It looked as if it had been cared for. We were told the previous owner had taken it to the Country Coach factory. Wherever that is, I thought they had said Texas, but it doesn't matter. The previous owner had taken there, had it gone through within the last year, I'm pretty sure they said, and everything was fine except the air conditioner on the engine, the compressor was bad that runs the dash air, and they had fixed that, and now everything was working just fine. I said, you know, we walked through and okay, we noticed this light wasn't working, we had a water leak here, faucet was dripping, little stuff. We had asked, okay, go ahead and go through it, check everything, make sure everything works before we make our final deal. Within about a week, they started pressuring. It was getting towards the end of, was it July?
June.
End of June. They wanted to get this closed out on June business. Okay, well, if you've had it in and everything works, says, well, we'll make sure it is. By the time you come down, because we were about 80 miles away from the dealer, living in our Pace Arrow, and okay, you get everything working, we'll move stuff out of our Pace Arrow, come down there and just transfer the last of our stuff, because we needed to move right in, and they assured us everything would be working. So we went down and, okay, well, there was some issues. The guy was to do our walkthrough. They advertise, they always give you a free walkthrough to show you how to run things. But as this guy was showing us, the TV didn't work, the water faucet dripped, there was a water leak outside, the, what was it?
Something, the batteries weren't working, and every time we would ask him a question, he wouldn't have an answer because he didn't know, so he'd have to run back in. And just as a comparison, we bought our previous, the motorhome that we traded this one in on, we bought that at the Camping World in Loveland.
Loveland, Colorado.
And they were phenomenal.
Longmont,
and they were phenomenal. I mean, we did the walkthrough, and the guy that did the walkthrough with us knew everything. He showed us. I mean, which was part of the reason we went to Camping World in Little Rock, because we have had such great experience with the one in Longmont. So just because one Camping World's great doesn't mean another one's great. That would be a serious lesson learned.
Well, we were a little bit naive, I guess. We thought they would at least tell us the truth for the kind of money we were spending. It was kind of spendy. I'm not going to say how much because that's really irrelevant. The point is, as we found things wrong, and their refrigerator wasn't cold, and they said, well, it's hot, it takes 3 days to cool down. I said, well, we've had a week, why isn't it cold? They made excuses. They did do a few repairs. They put in a newer model flat screen TV, which we like a lot. But now the previous owner had taken all the electronics, the DVD player. Right now, still, 8 months later, we have a cabinet full of disconnected TV cables. We don't know where they go. Now we've got enough we can work the TV. We hook up our computer and we watch YouTube videos on it, both the one here and the one in the bedroom. We bought our is it a 50-inch TV that we bought
I think so.
a couple of years ago? It was our Christmas present to ourselves. We have that in the back. We watch videos, and we watch Netflix and things like that. But the whole point is, they hadn't checked anything to see if anything worked. And after going back and forth with them for about 3 weeks, they said, okay, you've had the motorhome for a couple of weeks now. What do you need fixed? Of course, you know.
We had a list.
2 weeks in the summer, we still hadn't been able to check if the furnace even worked and things like that. We took it down and they agreed, okay, we'll fix this, we'll fix this. Well, we're not going to fix that. The awning didn't close right. Well, you know, it's not a new motorhome. You can't expect that to be right. There was an electronic monitor. Well, there's no parts available for that. But all of this was after they promised everything would work. And that's all we'd asked. Okay, don't sell it to us if it doesn't work. But they started pressuring us to close. We thought it was what we wanted. We thought we could deal with a few minor repairs, and tell you it's been one repair after another.
But we're getting there. So
well,
I mean,
I like to think I'm fairly handy, and
yeah,
I can fix a lot of stuff. But 2 weeks into it, we were up in Wyoming on a trip. We'd been doing some boondocking. We were wondering why we couldn't run the heater all night. Turns out batteries were bad.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We spent like $600 on batteries on that trip. We've what else have we had to spend? We spent $350 getting the Hydra hot heating system, which is an excellent system when it's working right. Turns out it had a cracked heat exchanger in it. Probably had to have for years. Maintenance item. They bothered. They told us, you know, you need to have this thing serviced every year. We don't work on them here. But just one thing and another, you know, it kind of beats you down. We like the motorhome, but don't trust people trying to sell you a motorhome if it's more than $50. You can swallow $50, but you get into tens of thousands of dollars. Obviously, we're still a little bit upset.
But in the long run, I'm still happy with it. I still like it. It's a great office space.
It is a good motorhome. We are getting it. We're getting things fixed still. Found a new water leak just yesterday. The slide out when it's out in the rain. It leaks a little bit in the closet back in the bedroom. We can fix it. Now we're just waiting for warmer weather and have to find a ladder. But get somebody you trust. If you can't check it yourself, get somebody you trust to check it over. Find out what doesn't work and hold the dealer to it. And that's where we made our mistake. So.
Well, and they have nowadays, and we've met some people along the way, that they have people that actually are certified to do inspections of your motorhome. And it does cost a couple $100, but
well, in fact, we know a man that does that work, but I've always thought I didn't really need it because I could check out and repair most stuff. I just hadn't imagined on a motorhome that had been checked out in the factory within the year would have so many problems. But okay, that's my fault for not checking it out, finding out, and holding them to their promise to fix it before I picked it up. Because then they said, okay, what do you want fixed? And of course they declined to fix some things, and some things we hadn't found yet. The refrigerator was a story in itself. They ended up putting a couple cooling units in it, and finally it's working here. Just what's it been, 3 weeks ago it quit again. They said, oh well, your electronic boards, both of them are shot. So there was another $700 there on the refrigerator. It was supposed to be in good condition, and they had supposedly put everything new in twice. They told us, yeah, we put this in then. But okay.
The bottom line is that I think that the camping ground in Little Rock is less than honest. I don't think that they run a high integrity business.
Okay, let's let that be the final word on them. This isn't a trash camping world video, but that is probably the most important and most expensive lesson we've learned since we got on the road. I guess advice, things we've learned, always do a daily walk around before you get ready if you're traveling, even if you're not traveling. Yesterday, last night got down to 20 degrees. Linda's out walking around the motorhome this morning.
With the dogs. I took
wondering
the Motley Crew
wondering why
out.
we didn't have any hot water to the shower or the kitchen sink. Turns out I'd gone out and disconnected our water hose last night so we could run off the water pump. Lo and behold, I disconnected the hose, shut off. We were running off our water pump because we have a heated basement. Warms the water tank. The pump's fine, warms the sewage, but I left the outside compartment door to the water closet, or the water access where everything's at, and lo and behold, it froze the line. Didn't break anything. We got it thawed out and working now, but I guess be aware, make sure things are right with regular checks, and that's just an example of my own stupidity there, but because of that, make sure things are okay. When you're traveling on the road especially, make sure your hitches are tight. If you're towing something, make sure everything's square. Another thing I wanted to mention, know what size your tanks are and how long you can expect to run off them. Fuel tank, of course, everybody's aware of. We got a 100-gallon fuel tank. We get about 5 miles to the gallon. We know we can go 400 miles without getting fuel, and that's pretty steady. We usually stop every couple hundred, but sometimes it hasn't really been convenient, or we haven't really felt like stopping, or keep an eye on your gas stations as you go by. We've got a diesel. Not every gas station has diesel, and not every station that has diesel can you get into and out of very easily with a motorhome you're towing. Don't get yourself stuck by trying to turn around where you can't. This thing will high center on that hitch pretty easy in back if things are too uneven.
We've learned that lesson, high centering.
I'm going to recommend, if you're driving a motorhome very far. Now, Good Sam Roadside Assistance.
Oh man!
For about $80 a year, they will cover you in your motorhome in all your vehicles that either one of you drive. All family members are living with you. Good Sam Roadside Assistance. We've called them 3 times. One time we ended up calling back, and no, we did use them 3 times.
Okay.
Okay, we used them for the car once. When I blew the
tire. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we have.
Blew the tire, had a little mishap with the car. We got the motorhome stuck once. Dropped the rear wheel, broke in a broken culvert, turning a corner into a pretty narrow road. Then one time we got it stuck, really soft ground. We backed off a rock driveway just a little too far, tried to pull up, and it just dug in.
Arkansas mud.
In the last, let's see, that first time was probably not that long ago, so I'm going to say in the last 5 months, we've used them 3 times. The 4th time we had called them, but they couldn't find anybody in the middle of the night in nowhere. Where were we?
Well, and it wasn't the middle of the night. We were down by Pueblo, Colorado.
It was getting pretty dark in Colorado.
Yes.
We were trying to find a campground, and the GPS said turn here, but it was such a tight U-turn, I could not make that turn. I had not expected it to be that tight, so I pulled on up. There was a place where people obviously turned around. A few carpoolers parked there, so well, I'll just pull up here, turn around, we'll go back. But it was on such uneven ground, we high-centered the trailer hitch with the tag axle, held the rear end up of the coach just enough that the drive wheels didn't have traction. Our tow dolly and the trailer hitch were stuck in the dirt. But we unhitched, unloaded the car, took the tow dolly off, and then by raising the tag axle all the way up, up and down a couple times, I was able to get enough traction to get that going. But so be careful of such things. Watch where you're driving. Go slow. Make wide turns. So, what would you like to add, dear? We're getting kind of long here. Know where your fuses, breaker panels, and switches for everything are. This thing, it's got kind of an unusual thing. There's a power disconnect switch up by the passenger's chair in here. When we first looked at the motorhome, nothing electrical was working. I turned on a switch. They told us later when one of the main things nothing worked was they found another power disconnect switch. They didn't bother to check the batteries, but anyway, we found that switch. If you hit it by accident, it pretty much shuts everything off, and the refrigerator pilot light goes out and won't come back on to your reset things. So just hopefully you'll get somebody that does know how to work things on your new motor coach and can show you how everything works. That was probably the second biggest disappointment. The fact it wouldn't fix anything, the fact it couldn't show us how to work things was the other thing.
But we've learned.
We had to learn.
It was an adventure. It's all been an adventure.
And what was the last thing we couldn't find? There was something happened not too long ago. And was it the circuit breaker? If we use our coffee pot,
Oh yeah.
we do have. It's got a 2-burner propane stove in here. Sometimes when we're really cooking up a storm, like this morning, I did breakfast. I wanted to cook eggs and bacon and French toast. That's 3 burners right there. So we did buy, and I would recommend.
Yeah.
We got a little electric hot plate. It will run off the inverter all by itself. This does have a 2,000 watt inverter in here. We got I think it's a 7,500 watt Onan generator, so we can pretty much go anywhere, do anything about any time we want to. And we like to boondock quite a bit. When we're traveling, if we're going to have a 2-3 day trip, sometimes more, we'll spend maybe every other night. Had a little interruption there. The camera I was using had a Canon Vixia Miss Linda got me for Christmas. And all of a sudden showed a message on the screen. We had it set up so we could watch what's being recorded. Now I've started recording the GoPro as well. We just got it. I'm still learning. The battery's not dead because I can still see the video display on it. Maybe the card filled up.
Perhaps.
I don't even know what size card it had in it. Something I'll have to check out. Linda had a couple thoughts. She said things we didn't mention. Internet on the road. We've got 2 phones, smartphones, which most of you know. You can get internet on those, or we've got a couple MiFi devices. So we can basically get internet for our computers for downloading or uploading YouTube videos. My main use. Linda uses them, of course, for work. What else?
TV. We don't have any kind of cable or satellite, and I don't think that I miss it. For like the last, I'm going to say 3 weeks, we had TV. Cable was provided at the park, and we had it, and I found at the end of the 3 weeks I was ready to be without it.
Since we hit on the road, well, even before we hit the road, I didn't watch a lot of TV. So we have the antenna on the roof, which sometimes when we're in the right area, we can pick up a little bit of TV. Some of the campgrounds we stay at have cable. We do have the capability to hook up and watch cable then if she needs a TV fix. But lately she spends more time watching things on Netflix. I spend more time doing things on YouTube, both of which we don't need a TV for. Our TVs get used more for hooking up our computers and or Chromecast and watching things from YouTube or Netflix or some such like that. I don't feel a need for TV myself at all. I get most of my news and everything else online.
Well, and I do that too. I read a lot more and do my news online. The other thing that a lot of my friends ask is, how do I deal with the small space? Because we have very small space. And actually, it has not been hard at all. It's less to clean, and so when I do clean, it takes less time. But we both have our own little spots. And how much spot do you need? As long as you have a place for your computer, your phone, whatever. But the space has not been that hard at all. I would tell you that I am not. The kitchen, having the bigger counter spot space from going from the other motorhome to this one, that's probably been the most dramatic. That I'm glad that we made the change in closet. I'm glad that we traded up and got more room. But other than that, I don't think it's a cramped space. I don't feel like we're on top of each other. I don't think that we're ever annoyed or.
We got a 40-foot with 2 slides, a living room, kitchen slide, and then the bedroom has a slide out, so we can walk past each other in here. The hallway in and out of the bathroom combination laundry room, we do have a built-in washer and dryer, which I'd recommend to anyone.
Yes.
You can't do big loads of laundry, but
you don't fall behind with your laundry, and you don't have to go to the laundromat on a regular basis, which is a big bonus. Bedding is what we really have to go to the laundromat for. We can keep all of our clothes done up. We have a combo washer dryer. It works well. You don't want to overload it because then stuff will come out really wrinkly. But other than that, I like having that combo.
Wash
here.
a few items at a time, a couple loads a day, and it's pretty easy to keep up. And then you got clean towels and clean underwear every day, which I still think is important. As she mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is less like camping than it is mobile living. But tell you what, we still tend to call it the camper a lot rather than the RV or the motor coach.
He calls it the camper.
Well, you know, I've been RVing for so many years. I've had so many campers. This is just the next step up. But yeah, we do like it a lot. We've got enough room to do everything we want to do, really. And we got all the great outdoors to go do stuff in when we get tired of being in here, and there's nothing to make us stay inside.
Nope. And there's one more thing I really, really like. With my job, I travel. I have conferences that I go to, and I need to be on site at different clients. And what's really great now is that I don't have to fly and stay in a hotel. And we'll go out and we'll enjoy the local area, you know, try different restaurants. But at the end of the day, no matter what we do, I come home, I sleep in my own bed, I have the dogs, I have him. And I can't complain. I think that's great. I was never one that liked staying in hotels for a long period of time, and who really does like airports and traveling, because the airlines are always delayed. So I appreciate that now, no matter where I'm at or what I'm doing, at the end of the day, I'm coming home and sleeping in my own bed. And that's a really big bonus. And it works out great with him being retired, that he has the freedom to do that. So I think for us, it's a really good fit, and it works really well.
It's a little different lifestyle than what a lot of people are used to, but really we have all the necessities. Mm-hmm. We are not roughing it. We're not cutting ourselves short. We eat real food. We cook and clean and wash and do everything else you would do in a house. We just don't have to keep as big of a house clean. It is a little easier if we stay somewhat organized, but you know what? If I can't find something, I still know it's here someplace.
Exactly.
But sometimes I'll put something away that she'll be looking for. She'll put something away and I won't know where she put it. But that's no different than a real house or sticks and bricks.
Right.
I mean, this is a real home for us. Been RVing for years, always liked it for weekends, for vacation trips, things like that. We decided we wanted to do it more.
We're going to have to spend February in Florida, darn it.
Yep, we get to go to Florida for the month of February.
Always wanted to be a snowbird when I grew up, and so I'm doing okay.
Everything we need is right here. Now, we do still have some stuff in storage, and I'm hoping before this year is out, we won't need storage anywhere anymore.
That's the goal.
We just had to learn. We don't need all that stuff. If I decide I'm going back, I'll just need to get new stuff.
That's
so
true.
She'll have to work a little harder. Okay? Get rid of it, you don't need it anyway.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I think I'm done for now.
I think me too.
I vented a little bit. Hopefully you gained something from this.
Right.
Any questions, comments? Be sure and ask. If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel. Why Not Wander with Chuck and Linda.
And the Motley Crew.
And the Motley Crew, they're all laying around here dozing.
Sleeping.
They don't pay attention when I talk or tell them or say anything